everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Global YouTube channel. This is a channel where Lighthouse Global leader, myself, Pastor Song, is sharing some visions, and we'll share some contents that will be edifying to your spirit, soul, body, mind, hopefully. Today I want to share with you a little bit about my history in Lighthouse Ministries and how I started, and just to give you a context and a background of how this ministry started, how it came this far, and how it's evolved in this kind of expression through Facebook. So basically, Lightbeam is just a name of a part of our ministry. Lighthouse Global, gosh, where do I start? It's such a long story. I went to college in the US. I am probably thought of myself as more of an American English-speaking person than a Korean, although I was a Korean citizen. After college, I was sort of forced to be back home because my father had passed away right at the end of my college years. And I went home, and the Lord through a series of prophetic words, I started a ministry called Lighthouse. There were many times in the past 20 years. I started this ministry in the year 2000, so it's 18th year. And there were many times that I was going to lay it down, I was going to change my ministry, I was going to give up ministry, I was going to merge it with some other ministry. I don't know, I was going to change it. But I think it's the Lord. I think God just gave it to me to be faithful with it. And long story short, so Lighthouse was just a Korean ministry. Now it's a global ministry because now I'm ministering in English. And there was a very significant prophetic word when I started in the year 2000. I was 25 years old, where prophets have said that this was a global ministry, that it was going to go all around the world. And with three people in a prayer meeting in a basement, yeah, right. I'm thinking, go all around the world. And she would say crazy prophecies of how big this was going to get. And I remember thinking, that's crazy. How is that possible? I'm only 25 years old, and I'm just a small, tiny little woman in South Korea. I'm not going to even move to the US, or I can't travel around the world. But over 15 years of time, God sent prophets just in the right timing when I'm about to give up, and they will release just some really unbelievable prophecies about how that this was a global ministry. Long story short, so their words, after 15 years, about 4 years ago, I transitioned into America. And now I'm seeing through Lightbeam groups that it is impacting nations. And it's very exciting for me because I'm the witness of what God has done. I'm the witness of how God has spoken. And I'm the one that's been around Lighthouse the longest, and I'm the only one that's left. Meaning, Josh came along 9 years ago. My husband came along 9 years ago. He didn't see the time of all of that I went through before he came along. I held on to the promise. And now we have influx of new people from all around the world, and I'm so thrilled to meet them because I'm just blessed to be traveling to Singapore, to Japan, to preach in churches in Japan, and just pray for people in Europe, and all these things are very exciting because the Lord has spoken, and I know that God's going to fulfill what He has said. So yes and amen to that. The story from a timeline of a woman who's been waiting for 18 years. I know some of you only met me for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years at the most. But you're coming in, and you are part of the fulfillment of the prophecies that the Lord has given me through many people. So welcome, and I'd love to go and meet you. To be very honest with you, the name Lighthouse wasn't very attractive to me for many reasons, but because one, it's so common. It's like you see the name Lighthouse everywhere. Lighthouse Insurance, Lighthouse museum, Lighthouse, everything. And so I just didn't think it was a cool name. So when I started with Lighthouse, I remember 2 months in, I had a prayer meeting in a basement of my friend's house in Seoul. We just had a small prayer meeting with a couple of college students, and I used to pray for them prophetically back in year 2000. That was very new for them back then. But I remember thinking to myself, just in my spirit, gosh, I wish I had a better name. Lighthouse seems so old and lame. Right after I thought that, I got a phone call. I got a phone call from a mentor who I really respect. And this is a missionary who does some really incredible work. she has another mentor who actually, these two people were the ones that really spoke life into me starting a ministry in South Korea. And she called me right away and she said, hey, Pastor blah blah blah. So this pastor is the older gentleman who's a medical missionary who is an incredible prophet, unknown prophet. You know, one of those people who are like unknown in the body of Christ but are extremely spiritual. Well, this man was like that. She said, Pastor blah blah called me and said to deliver this word for you, and she said, Songi is thinking about changing the name Lighthouse to something else, but God is saying that I have given you that name, so do not change it. And then she hung up the phone. So ever since then, I was so shocked because how could this man of God know what I was thinking and give me a call right away to deliver that word? So I stuck with the name. Yes, and just to give you a bit of a context, Lightbeam is Lightbeam because Lighthouse beams out light. What is the essence of Lighthouse? Well, Lighthouse is supposed to shine the light. And the same guy who prophesied for me not to change the name, I've never met him in person, but he would call me. He would have somebody call me and deliver me a word, but he would say things like, one of the significant things that they said in year 2000 was that Song's ministry is going to guide many ships into the right direction. She's going to shine the light in a lighthouse in the end times when things are very turbulent. When the boats don't know which way to go, the light will shine to show them the way. And so, you know, I just try to be faithful to the essence of what God has spoken. I don't really have an agenda necessarily, and one of my ministry philosophies is not to have an agenda. Meaning, I've seen too many times when we have our human agenda of building my ministry. Okay, I want my church to be right here and I want 300 people in 3 years. Or like, I'm gonna do it this way. I don't know, what the Lord has taught me in 18 years is to be flexible. Is to, in a way, think of ministry as like H2O, like water. Like, we need water. That's the essence. It doesn't matter what plastic bottle it comes in. You just need to drink water to live, right? And the Lord said my ministry was like H2O, like water. I water people and then see what God does. And the Lord's really taught me how to let go of my vision or to not hold on to it for too long and to be flexible. So our mission strategy so far has been any country that we go into, we pray for a download of God's strategy for that city or that nation, and then we support that in whatever form. We don't have to have our name label on it or whatever. So it's in a way very secretive, or like it's like being God's spy and being effective like God's naval force, or like, what do you call those people? Navy SEAL people who go in and do like battles to kill off the enemy, and they're very secretive. Well, I think that's what we're called to do, and I really have a passion to raise up warriors. And I think that's why on Lightbeam, I often say, warriors, I call you warriors. Amen. The essence of Lighthouse is to shine the light and spread the beam of light to show the direction and illuminate the darkness and reveal what God's heart is. And that's the heart of prophecy. Thank you so much for watching us, and I do hope that we stay in touch. Feel free to reach out to me through Facebook. We don't have a webpage yet, but there are ways that you can get involved through Facebook groups. And if you want to continue on reading my prophetic posts and get to know us, please feel free to reach out to us through lightbeameastcoast@gmail.com. You can email us at lightbeameastcoast@gmail.com and invite us to your church ministry, your house gatherings. We'd love to go and visit, get to know you.